and welcome back to another episode of Bad Moms in Business, the podcast. And today we are honoring our veterans because it is Veterans Day, or as Danielle says, Veterans Day.
You know, I'm not really sure why I say it like that.
It's like tomato, realtor.
Yeah, but there's really only one correct way to say any of those.
But you know what? People know what you mean, so it's okay.
That's true.
I feel like I flop back and forth. Veteran. Yeah. I interchange them.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. So what a great topic to discuss. Love honoring our military.
Yes. Absolutely. Amanda, you have a weird look on your face. Is everything okay?
Yeah. I got like suddenly hot.
Okay.
I was like, I'm feeling warm. I'm gonna slip off my shoes.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna cross my legs now. Like I got suddenly hot.
Okay.
Maybe it's because you're in your adorably cute store.
Or it could be hot flashes. Either way, we don't know.
Are we there yet?
So that's all.
Well, what I was going to say is that you have a special relationship to Veterans Day because of who you're married to. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Marcus?
I'm married to a veteran. Marcus, as Bridgette said. I don't know. A lot of people know the story of how he entered in the military, but
I'm related to him, and I don't know the story.
He's not one of those lifers or anything like that. He, at 30 years old, decided to enlist.
Interesting.
Because the economy was not doing great. There was definitely a potential he was not going to have a job, and solid income. Guaranteed income was very appealing. I mean, it was during the major recession that we and many of our listeners went through. And it was just seemed like something that was an okay thing to do to at least secure housing and secure a paycheck. We weren't going to be homeless and we would have money. So Owen was already born at that time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was a baby. He was 2. Like basically think of Watson going into the military at that age.
Wow.
Oof. Yeah. So it was quite an adventure. So much fun. So we up and moved to El Paso, Texas, and that's where we lived for 4 years. And he just did his 4 years and he was done. And the beauty of that is because of those years, he was able to get his GI Bill that allowed him to do his schooling. And now he has a job that he would never have been able to take advantage of getting that program. I mean, any type of pilot program, aviation program is outrageously expensive because of all the flight hours that you have to do. And his GI Bill provided for all of that. So had we not sacrificed those 4 years, who knows what we'd be doing today.
That's so crazy.
Just an amazing community. Talk about, the military wives and just all of the sacrifices that military families make. I know this is about, the veteran themselves. However, I don't think a veteran can be a super strong soldier or Marine or anything without a super supportive, spouse and family behind them.
So true.
And it's such a selfless type of give for our country. And I mean, they just can't get it out of their head. They're just programmed to love our country and defend it. And I'm just grateful. There's so many amazing men and women out there that keep us safe.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm grateful that they have programs, and I know the programs are lacking, don't get me wrong, but that there are programs like the GI Bill available so that when they do come out and are, back to civilian status, that they have somewhere to go or some new road that they can travel, outside of the military.
Absolutely.
Because I can't imagine what it would be like to go from being in service to your country to now I'm just a civilian. And that must be just life altering.
It is. And, one thing that we had that many, many military members don't have is because he joined so late in life, we had already established a home prior to joining. So we had a place to come home to, right?
Sure.
Where so many people join at 18 and they
Right.
go off to serve our amazing country. And when they retire at maybe 38, because now they've got 20 years in already, which just blows,
That's
someone's mind.
so crazy.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have a home anymore. Their home has been many other places. And so their palette of where they can go just is so wide. And I would think could be very intimidating for a lot of people when the military has told you how to breathe and how to dress for, maybe 20 years. So the fact that you can actually maybe get to choose the rest of your life, that can be a lot of
culture shock.
overwhelm. Very much so. So
That's so crazy.
We knew that we would be coming home, if not just to get our feet back on the ground and then pivot again, but at least we had a place to come back to. We stayed with my parents, during the transition of looking for a house and stuff like that. So a lot of people, again, don't have that. But I tell you, it's a wonderful lifestyle, but it's a hard lifestyle too. And I can't say it enough how thankful, I am, and how thankful everyone here, at least on this podcast, is for all those that serve.
Yeah. My sister was in the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
She went straight out of high school.
Interesting.
And it was crazy to me. Like this little baby just got on a plane and went to boot camp.
Oh my gosh, that would just be so hard to do that. Like at least from my personal experience, I was so like sheltered and protected as a child, and then graduating high school and then just being like, boof, you're gone, you're off. That would just be so scary.
But you know what? It afforded her a lot of cool opportunities. She lived in Traverse City first, which is like northern Michigan, for those of you that don't know. We're from Michigan, so I don't think that was super exciting for her to you get into this. A lot of people get into the military because it does offer benefits of traveling and seeing the world. And then she gets stationed in Traverse City, Michigan, 4 hours from where she grew up.
It doesn't hit the same.
Right. But from there, she went to Alaska. And she was in Alaska for 4 years. Yeah. And then from there, she was stationed in Cape Cod, where she met her now husband. And she's retired. She's back to civilian life. But she was able to meet her husband because of her career. So
and she went from like gorgeous place to gorgeous place to gorgeous place. Man, that's like
I know.
Trifecta
and
right there.
I think she got to go to California too for a very short time for some sort of like training. I don't know. But I think that part is super cool. That the military, obviously there's a lot of not cool things about it. Yes, but the fact that you get to travel and see new things, that's pretty awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah. But what we perceive sometimes as not cool is what the service member thrives in. Those are the very things that they enlisted for.
That's a very good point.
So it's interesting to, hear the different perspectives. And again, for whatever reason, and a lot of people join the military just to escape their upbringing, right? They maybe are coming from an area that they didn't have all of the amazing opportunities that other areas have. And so it can really land them in a really healthy, positive place of growth, once they remove themselves out from situations. And there was a lot of that. That was one thing that I think I did not realize when we joined, when you get to talking to all these people and where they're from and how some of the places just weren't good, really made you grateful for, any type of benefit that you had growing up.
Oh, absolutely. I had friends growing up that went off into various, branches of the military. And whenever they would come home, I had some friends that were being deployed into Afghanistan and Iraq, and they would come home and they were not the same person anymore. Like, not just the fact that, like, I can remember watching people go off to, like, is it boot camp? Is that what they call, like, that first initial? Yep. And then even just coming home after like the 6 or 8 weeks that was. And I'm like, wow, you are so grown up, like, especially in like that 18 to 20 range, there's so much growth that can happen in such a short amount of time by having like that type of discipline. But then like having people come home from being deployed and stuff, it's just like, whew, like I had friends that wouldn't even speak of their time over there.
Saw.
Yeah. Like needed therapy, things like that. Like it was pretty crazy. It was a crazy time.
And hopefully if there is a need, they get it. So many of our service members do not. And it always makes me so sad because who would think that going through something like that wouldn't need some sort of, decompression to humanize you again, to be that civilian that you were before going into the military. I mean, it's just unreasonable to think that there wouldn't be a substantial amount of service members that wouldn't need that. So I just hope anyone listening who, might need a little bit of support gets it.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, to be honest, I think 90% of the population probably needs therapy of some sort to begin with, because we all go through our own trauma throughout our lives. Like to go through something like that, like, yes, please, even if you don't think you need it, might not be, it might not be a bad thing to just go see somebody to talk through some stuff, because
absolutely
some heavy stuff.
Absolutely. One of the things I love most about Chris is anytime he sees someone, walking through Meyer and they have the hats on, veteran or Vietnam or whatever, he always stops them and thanks them for their service. And I would say 95% of the time, they're so honored to have someone care. Oh, I could cry thinking about it. Here we go. But last night, we were at the store and there was an older gentleman walking through and he had a hat on. And so Chris stopped him and shook his hand and said, "Thank you, sir, for your service." And he said, "Thank you for stopping me and saying that."
And more than likely, that particular person came home from war to an unwelcoming committee. And I'm grateful that I don't think, hopefully in my lifetime or anyone else's lifetime, that we'll ever see that type of negative feeling towards our military that tries so hard to keep us safe. I think we all learned a lesson that you might not always agree with the wars.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Always support the service member, because they're just doing what they're doing because, one, they're told, but they love our country.
Well, and they're doing the job that I'm not doing.
Yes,
right.
100%.
I'm not signing up to go on the front lines.
Nope.
They're so much braver and deserve so much more respect than they get. That's for sure.
Absolutely. It's just, I'm grateful for anyone who feels called to serve. And I hope, as things change, that there's still as many people who feel called to do those jobs as there always has been, because you just never know. I think we oftentimes take those amazing service members for granted, and we shouldn't.
Sure.
No, we shouldn't. I think maybe if you're feeling led, we could maybe put a little link in our comments, some sort of foundation, maybe Wounded Warrior Project or something along those lines, that if you're feeling led to give back to our military men and women, maybe you could click the link and just throw them a couple bucks. I know Wounded Warrior Project is a wonderful, wonderful organization, and I'm sure there's more. But if you have one that you love to support, maybe today on Veterans Day, just go and throw them $5, and they deserve so much more than that. But whatever we can do, I think we should do, especially in these times.
And I just like to say, just don't use Veterans Day to thank a service member. Anytime, such as what Chris does, anytime that you can see that somebody is, a member of our service community, that you just say thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a gloomy topic, but it can be a gloomy topic.
It's just like a pensive topic, it just makes me think, and it makes me grateful and appreciative, and just makes me think.
It does.
Very grateful.
Because freedom is not free.
No.
Well, you said a mouthful there.
So many people have died for us to be able to sit here and do this silly little podcast.
Mhm.
You know, it's just not enough.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So everyone who has served or has supported a service member, thank you for all that you do to continue to keep us safe and everyone else in this country and
Absolutely.
oftentimes the world.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much for your service.
Thanks.